Three scary true babysitting horror stories by the homie Mr. Nightmare. What's good? How you day going? Morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this video. Now, I'm quite sure a few of us are already not too fond of using babysitters. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's so bad with me to the point where even certain family members, I don't even trust certain family members around my kid alone when I'm not there. Because for one, don't look, we're gonna talk a little bit of issue when we get to the video, but this is a topic that always pees me off. I hate when I bump into those videos, you see a kid and it's like, damn, someone beat the brakes off dog, and then you find out it was someone who was ever the guardian at that moment, whoever was the adult over that kid at the moment. So I was like, wow, this is effed up. And a lot of them get protected by the system so many times. But here, not about to talk about that. Back on track though. For one, why it really pisses me off, because for one, this kid is so defenseless. And then let's say, speaking of, just keeping it in the family realm, whatever, right? It's like, yo, this is supposed to be fam, and then this is what you're showing this kid, so already you're traumatizing that kid at that point. Then number two, it's like, yo, the kid can't, let's say, okay, you go pick up your kid, and you see this mark or something going on, you're like, yo, what happened, what's going on? You know, it's already hard for the kid to speak, because they normally do it when these kids are at that age where it's like, oh, they're lying, it's just his imagination, this is what happened, but this kid is going to tell you XYZ happened. Bullshit, I believe this kid. But regardless though, we're gonna get to the video. You can skip if you want, whatever, right? So now this kid is trying to explain to you what happened, but at the same time don't know how, and at the same time may be scared. All right, look, I'm not gonna get to this because this video may pee me up, and lately Mr. Nightmare has been implementing murder with the M in it. That looked so bad. Stop being immature, dog. I was doing the stabbing, that's why I was doing that. But lately he has been implementing murder, put the M on it, into his video. So yo, this may just be some effed up ish. But if you want to check out the original video, link will be in the description below. But let's go.
When I was 18, I was a babysitter for 3 young boys across town from me. They were 3, 5, and 7. I'll just call them Adam, 3, Bobby, 5, and Chris, 7, ABC. Adam and Chris were the easiest to take care of. Adam was a surprisingly well-behaved toddler, and Chris just liked to play his video games and watch TV. Bobby, on the other hand, was very moody, a picky eater, and difficult to get to go to sleep. I had worked for this family for months, and I was somewhat close with their mom Lucy, who was raising them by herself. They had a decently modest middle-class house. Lucy's parents would help her out with finances and such. All 3 boys had their own rooms. Lucy worked nights at the time, so I'd always babysit till around midnight on weeknights, and my college classes would start in the afternoon, so it worked out schedule and sleep-wise. One night after playing some Nintendo Wii games with Chris, I put Adam to bed, and not long after, Bobby. Chris's bedtime would be 9:30, Bobby's would be 9. After tucking Bobby in, I started telling Chris to start changing into his PJs after his next game was over. Chris insisted I play one more game of Wii tennis with him, so I made a deal that he'd go to bed after if I did. During our game though, Bobby started crying for me up from his room. I paused the game and went upstairs. As I entered his room, he said there's a monster in his closet. I laughed, and I believe I pinched his cheek and said something along the lines of, there's no such thing as monsters, but I'll leave the door open so you feel safer. Then I asked if that made him feel better, and he nodded. Chris was downstairs calling for me to come back, all annoyed, so I went back to the game of tennis and we resumed.
I take it the babysitter is not going to be the villain in this story though. And with me being the babysitter, I still would have checked, like, let me just make sure, because I'm here to protect. Let me just open the closet just to confirm for you. Open the mother, nigga really in that motherfucker. I'm just wondering if this villain is going to be the relative or something, because we hear the dad is not in the picture, and last time I had a story like this, that's what it was. It was the dad that was trying to get to the kid. I don't know. I'm gonna let it finish though.
Cheek and said something along the lines of, there's no such thing as monsters, but I'll leave the door open so you feel safer. Then I asked if that made him feel better, and he nodded. Chris was downstairs calling for me to come back, all annoyed, so I went back to the game of tennis and we resumed, and we eventually finished the game with no interruptions. At this point, Chris went upstairs to change into his pajamas and brush his teeth, and I was alone in the kitchen watching TV. That's when Bobby's cries from upstairs echoed down again. I went up to his room again, and he was hiding under his covers. He said once again, there's a monster in the closet, I heard it. I looked at the closet door, which was closed. I looked at it for a while actually, then back at Bobby and asked, why do you think there's a monster in there? And he replied, I keep hearing it moving. I asked him if he wanted me to take a look, and he shook his head no. I walked closer to the closet anyway, and he said don't. I didn't take him seriously, till I heard something in the closet myself. It It was very clearly the sound of something alive in that closet that tapped into the door, or something behind the door. Bobby whispered, "See?" I turned around and picked up Bobby and said, "We're going to another room." I also grabbed Chris from the bathroom and brought him into
another room. But I was thinking that, like, don't open it. Actually, I would just get the kids and go. But he said another room. Well, you sit in the same damn house.
And said, "We're going to another room." I also grabbed Chris from the bathroom and brought him into Adam's room, where I locked the door. Adam and Lucy's room share a Jack and Jill bathroom with 2 entrances. I went into the bathroom and called Lucy and quietly asked if there was a possibility of there being an animal in the house or in the walls, because there were sounds that Bobby was hearing that I heard myself. She sounded concerned right away and wanted me to check the closet. I kept her on the phone as I went back to Bobby's room. My discovering the closet door to now be ajar confirmed that there was...
I was about to put the water down because I knew. I was like, jump scare about to come. Damn, I only spilled a little bit. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm literally double cut right now, just in case you wonder why I got 2 cups of drink, though. Because it's not drink, water. No, so one is just straight water, because y'all know I drink water all the damn time. It's like the only thing I drink every day, all day. And then this one is my lemon water, because of course I want to clean myself out. All right. So let's give it. And it's a pinch of pink Himalayan sauce. Salt. I said sauce. Last thing, and before you dental hygienists come in here, I know I'm supposed to be drinking this one with the straw. I know that.
There was a possibility of there being an animal in the house or in the walls, because there were sounds that Bobby was hearing that I heard myself. She sounded concerned right away and wanted me to check the closet. I kept her on the phone as I went back to Bobby's room. My discovering the closet door to now be ajar confirmed that there was someone in the house with us. I told Lucy, and she freaked out, telling me it was most likely her crazy ex and to get the kids out of the house.
Well, it ain't their daddy, but well, no, it is.
Telling me it was most likely her crazy ex and to get the kids out of the house. I suddenly felt like my life were in danger.
I knew it was that
nigga. Her ex was going to come out of nowhere and run at me. I went to Adam's room and managed to get the 3 kids out of the room. But just as I did, I heard the front door to the house.
Better than me, because I would have dipped out the front door.
Slam shut. I peeked down.
I wouldn't have really did that.
Out of the room. But just as I did, I heard the front door to the house slam shut. I peeked down into the living room, and there was no one there. But the front door was shut. He must have made an exit while he could.
Oh, yeah.
I went to lock the door, then called 911. Lucy came home from work early, and was there when the police came. Without cameras or anything, there was no proof that it was her ex, though. Her ex is the father of Adam, but she keeps him away from her because of their past that I won't get into for her privacy. Long story short, he can't take it, and she just recently blocked his number, which would explain the possibility of him breaking into the house. The police recommended changing the locks on the doors and such to Lucy. She understood I wouldn't feel comfortable staying in that house for a while after that, so she started letting the kids stay with a relative or one of her parents coming to watch the kids. I don't know what happened after that because we kind of fell out of contacts. I didn't really like the fact that she was okay with me checking the closet when she was already suspicious that it was her ex. It was definitely a horrifying experience.
That is hella true, actually, thinking about it. It's like, okay, so after I checked it, then, oh, you instantly knew, like, oh, yeah, it possibly could have been my ex. Like, you knew that the whole time. And you're going to sit me there like, ooh, go in there and check it. He could have thought maybe I was effing you. I tried, but shit, let me hit.
I wouldn't feel comfortable staying in that house for a while after that. So she started letting the kids stay with a relative or one of her parents coming to watch the kids. I don't know what happened after that because we kind of fell out of contacts. I didn't really like the fact that she was okay with me checking the closet when she was already suspicious that it was her ex. It was definitely a horrifying experience.
I was letting the ass play. Charlie E.
I had just turned 14. It was the summer of 2012. I was looking for a job. My grandma had told me about a family that she was friends with, and they had 2 boys, Alexander and Danny. Alexander was 10 and Danny was 5. I was very excited to have a summer job and get some extra spending money. I went over to meet the family with my grandma, and they were friendly enough. The 2 boys seemed easy to handle and not babyish or whiny at all. In fact, the boys and I were playing with their trucks, getting along great. I set up a date with the parents, and they actually had a dinner to go to the next night. So the next night, it became time for me to head over to the house. It was a humid, rainy night. I walked into the house, and the parents were just getting ready to leave. They gave me a paper with rules and such, things they didn't want the kids to do and their routines. They wrote a little something on the side that said Danny swears he hears tapping on his window every night, but not to believe it, because they think it's just a silly story that kids make up. I was only 14 myself, so reading this was a little unnerving, but I sort of forgot about it. It was a chill night. We watched TV and played with toys. They didn't give me any sort of trouble, but when I told the boys it was time to get ready for bed, I noticed Danny starting to stall and get kind of distressed.
Damn.
I ignored
Scared.
it, thinking he's only 5 and probably wants to stay up later. Eventually, I got them both to settle down and go to sleep. About an hour and a half had passed. It was now 10 p.m. I heard Danny groggily but loudly yell for me. I rushed up to him and asked what was the matter. He told me he heard the tapping noise again. I instantly felt uneasy and nervous, but I just flicked on the light and looked out the window. Nothing outside except darkness and the solar lights from the neighbor's driveway. I calmly told Danny that it was probably just some bugs since it's summer after all. He seemed to come at ease when I said this and laid back down. As I walked out of the room to shut his door, I heard
He didn't come to ease. He's just so used to his parents always brushing it off. Like, yep, this is what everybody gonna do. And don't get me wrong, it could just be the kid imagination just doing that. But I ain't gonna lie, a lot of times when I be hearing stories like this, I be believing a kid, dog.
Danny that it was probably just some bugs since it's summer after all. He seemed to come at ease when I said this and laid back down. As I walked out of the room to shut his door, I heard a faint tap noise against his window. I got the chills as I flicked on the light again and looked out the window. And again, nothing. I kept telling myself that it was just bugs flying into the window, but something deep down told me to do something. I told Danny not to worry as I opened the window and yelled out, "This is private property, I'm gonna call the police." Moments after I did so, I heard a frantic scurrying into the forest that was across the yard. By now, I must have had goosebumps all along my arms and legs, and I immediately called the police for real. I called the parents right after, and they were thankfully already on their way home. The police arrived and didn't seem at all surprised by what I had told them. They had gotten other reports in the area for quite some time about some stranger going up to people's windows at night, looking through them and tapping on them. They said they got calls telling them the same thing almost every week. Danny's parents just never believed him and I guess took it as some little kid's story or imagination.
I know.
But it turned out to be very real. They searched the whole neighborhood and never found the person. After that night, I told the family in the nicest way possible that I didn't feel comfortable watching their kids anymore. And I still think to this day what would have happened if anything went differently. Like, God forbid, the window was unlocked or open. Maybe sometimes parents shouldn't just brush whatever their young children say as just their imagination.
Da 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 da. Clown. Yeah, I do believe these are actually true stories because these sound like legit real human scenarios. Oh shoot, my bad. And then first, I ain't gonna lie, this one, I was about to play it, but hold on, let's talk a little bit more. But I ain't gonna lie, because at first, I thought this one was gonna be like on some spirit-ish. I was like, oh, what if he's hearing-ish? And turn out they on like the 5th floor or something like that. No pun and Martin and everything. But either way it go, like basically he's high up. And so it's like, no, there's no way this is possible. There's no poles or anything, tree branches aiming at it, nothing. And it ain't that many bugs gonna be hitting the window. But then it was like, yeah, nah.
And I still think to this day what would have happened if anything went differently.
Driving people in the
Like,
neighborhood
God forbid,
crazy.
the window was unlocked or open. Maybe sometimes parents shouldn't just brush whatever their young children say as just their imagination.
Anonymous.
This happened when I was 8 years old, and my little sister was 6. It's a memory that's kind of scarring, to the point that I just remember it so vividly, even as an adult, and it's something that stayed with me. Our parents hired a one-time babysitter for this weekend that they'd be away on a couples trip. It was some 16-year-old boy that responded to an ad that my mom posted in the public library. He happened to go to the high school that my parents went to.
I don't care what you say, I would never ever hire a boy babysitter. I don't care.
Mom posted in the public library. He happened to go to the high school that my parents went to, so I feel like they felt a safer connection with him. He was watching us for 3 nights from Thursday to Sunday. His name was Nathan. I don't know his last name. If I did, I'd say it. Most of the first night is a blur. I was only...
I mean, he bad as shit. That mean it's about to get ugly. All right, let's go back.
He was watching us for 3 nights from
said,
Thursday
"I
to
would
Sunday.
snitch."
His name was Nathan. I don't know his last name. If I did, I'd say it. Most of the first night is a blur. I was only 8 after all. I remember...
Hold up, nigga. Fucking Nathan. Hold up. I could be wrong though. Nathan may turn out to be a super duper uber hero, so that's why he really wanted to shout him out.
Weekend that they'd be away on a couples trip. It was some 16-year-old boy that responded to an ad that my mom posted in the public library. He happened to go to the high school that my parents went to, so I feel like they felt a safer connection with him. He was watching us for 3 nights from Thursday to Sunday. His name was Nathan. I don't know his last name. If I did, I'd say it. Most of the first night is a blur. I was only 8 after all. I remember not much other than playing Ratchet & Clank on my PlayStation in the basement all night because I was obsessed. Same thing the next day, on Friday. I was playing Ratchet & Clank for so long that I guess Nathan came down to build a rapport with me and asked to play with me. He told me he also liked the game, so we played multiplayer versus mode. From what I remember, I actually was having fun and started to like Nathan. The next day, I had my friend Zachary over and we played soccer in the backyard, which Nathan volunteered to ref for as he came outside with my little sister. Basically, he was a completely normal seeming dude for my 8-year-old mind. Zachary left not long after we all ate the pizza that Nathan ordered with the money I assume my parents left for food. That night before going to sleep, I was playing on my DS in bed, when Nathan came in and asked if I wanted to play more video games, and I'm sure I respectfully told him I'm tired. He would leave as expected, but that's not where this ends. I always was a heavy sleeper as a kid. Not anymore, but when I was 8, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a regular occurrence. So waking up in my pitch black room was definitely a weird thing to happen that night. I remember flipping on my side after hearing my door closing. I looked across the room towards the door, and as my eyes adjusted to the dark, I saw someone standing in the corner of the room, and before I could digest what was happening and scream or react in any way, I heard Nathan go shh and whisper, "It's me." I didn't respond, but then he slowly got closer to my bed, pulled the covers off of me, and I swear he was about to get in the bed before I screamed stop or something along those lines, and he froze. I got out of bed and left the room. I went to my little sister's room, took a blanket from under her bed, and laid on the floor shaking, feeling extremely confused and uncomfortable. The whole next day, I didn't see Nathan. I knew he was in the house because he fed my little sister breakfast, but I knew he was avoiding me now. I couldn't exactly call my parents because I didn't know either of their cell phone numbers. It was a weird long day of me staying in my room and playing games with my little sister. Nathan never came in once. That night, I couldn't sleep for obvious reasons, and I don't know how much time passed before hearing my door creak open again. This time I didn't look up. I laid there until I heard the door close, and then a few moments of silence later, I looked up to the door, but he wasn't there this time. I turned on the lamp to confirm this, but even at 8, I knew he was creeping around again, and I wanted to go to sleep in my sister's room to protect her in my mind. I got up and took my pillows and blanket to my sister's room, and lo and behold, Nathan was already halfway towards my sister's bed.
I thought you were about to say he was already in there, dog. This shit pissing me off.
Room. And lo and behold, Nathan was already halfway towards my sister's bed in the pitch black room. I yelled at him to get away from her, and he told me to calm down, he's just checking on her. He hurried out of the room, and I locked the door. That was the last time I ever saw him. The next morning, I woke up on my sister's floor.
I can take the fact, I'm a little glad that he's so weak that even if he's confronted, he'll back out of it.
Told me to calm down, he's just checking on her. He hurried out of the room, and I locked the door. That was the last time I ever saw him. The next morning, I woke up on my sister's floor and told her let's play games in her room until Mom and Dad get back, which was early in the day, thank God. We heard our parents get home and talk with Nathan outside.
I'm saying something. Soon as they pull up, I don't care, because you got to put in that 8. Okay, maybe I would have not thought like this. All right, so this is using hindsight at this point. But now, you say something soon as it happens, because when I hate when people, when some issues go down, just speaking in general, not even this situation, everything in general. When let's say like, all right, I know it's some bullshit, and you know you lying, and I know you lying, but I'ma hold it off and give it days and weeks and months. No, you giving them time to build and add on to it. Put that shit on the spot instant. Hey, man, this nigga tried to touch me, dog. Put it on there. He gonna fold instantly. He ain't gonna know what to do. Some people, they be good. They'll play it off. Relax, kid. What an imagination, you sick fuck. Where my weed at? And I know my little sister got my back. And my dad better get the scrapping right there. If he don't break up with dog.
And I locked the door. That was the last time I ever saw him. The next morning, I woke up on my sister's floor and told her let's play games in her room until mom and dad get back, which was early in the day, thank God. We heard our parents get home and talk with Nathan outside, but we didn't leave her room until he was gone. My parents asked me why I slept on her floor. I don't remember what I said, but I know I didn't tell them the real reason.
See?
In fact, I never did. I regret it often, not telling them all those years ago, so that Nathan guy would get in trouble. I'm scared because of me, he might have actually at some point successfully hurt a child. It's sadly something I kept bottled up my whole childhood, simply because I felt too embarrassed and awkward to tell anyone.
Oh, look at Ernie. That's the Ernie and Bert. I watched that one already, the little Ernie and Bert nigga. Dog, that one was funny, boy. Then that last one low-key changed the mood. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was gonna talk about something totally different. Cause from the first two was like, man, I understand where these are going. Ain't nobody about to get hurt. Possibly could, but it's definitely the weirdo ish we hear about. The second one, I legit feel like could be wrong though. It's just me assuming. Could just, and the first one also is assuming as well. Cause remember they said they never actually fully saw who it was. But back to the second one, I felt like it was someone just trolling, just on some weird ish, but legit trolling. Who knows? Maybe they were actually out trying to do some ish, whatever, right? But the third one, I was like, damn. Once after that, I was like, all right, now this shit got real, because it was like, yo, this one definitely felt like it hit home. And I said it, dog, I'm not hired. I don't get it. Maybe it's something I don't know, and I ain't trying to hit and trigger nothing and everything. But I can't see the reason why a dude would want to be a babysitter. I can't, unless it's like fam. You like, yo, you think you can watch kids for me? And I still probably say, nah, I'm sick, nigga. But I don't know, dog. If it's your thing, it's your thing. Me personally, though, I'll just never hire one. I'm not even gonna. Even though I'm not hiring a girl either. I'm not hiring nobody. But regardless, if I was in those days when it was like babysitters, I still knew that. Nope. It's like, nah, I wouldn't do it, dude. Pause. But look though, dog, I'm about to go ahead and get up out of here. I just sat in this chair hella weird and I'm stuck in this mug, boy. But no, Pete, with today's day and age, I already know somebody go twist and twangle the words. He don't like dudes, he don't like. Look, go ahead and get up out of here. Only thing I said, I ain't hiring no dude babysitter, all right? I ain't fucking hiring one. Enjoy your day, morning, evening, night, whenever you watch this video, dog, but I'm out.